At the same time, I think that the framing of this conversation is incorrect and actually incredibly frustrating, because what the Democratic Party has been doing incorrectly for a long time now is they have become increasingly the pro-corporate party that really has nothing to offer to the American people. They used to want to champion better health care. They've moved off that message, and instead they've leaned into more extreme cultural matters that turn a lot of Americans off.
Ana Kasparian went on News Nation and shut down this woke co-host here and absolutely made him, basically forced him to admit that Republicans are the one that have to save the country here. It's absolutely wild. If you look back a few years ago and you were to tell me that Ana Kasparian would be going on News Nation and going on these shows and shutting down these woke hosts in favor of, defending Republicans, defending people like Donald Trump, it's crazy the 180 that she's taken over the last few years. But this was absolutely glorious to watch. Let's get into this clip here where Ana Kasparian absolutely destroys this woke host and makes them admit that Republicans are going to be the ones that have to save the country and that Democrats have absolutely failed at their job. Let's check it out.
We've been warning on the program for a while that Democrats risk irrelevancy. And this week proved them irrelevant. Chuck Schumer could have held his entire caucus together and actually gotten something from Republicans. He couldn't do that. The phrase, "What would Bill Maher say?" could and should serve as a roadmap for Democrats out of the wilderness. Will they take it? For that, we begin with an incredible panel. Ana Kasparian, host of The Young Turks, former Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, both we are lucky to have. Ana, going to start with you. What would Bill Maher say? Good organizing principle or not?
I think he's right on some of the cultural stances that the Democratic Party has decided to lean into, some of the more extreme ideas, including, some of the policies that they want to champion in regard to transgender women in, sex segregated spaces, pretending as though they don't know the difference between gender and sex, which are obviously two different things. Biology does matter. At the same time, I think that the framing of this conversation is incorrect and actually incredibly frustrating, because what the Democratic Party has been doing incorrectly for a long time now is they have become increasingly the pro-corporate party that really has nothing to offer to the American people. They used to want to champion better health care. They've moved off that message, and instead they've leaned into more extreme cultural matters that turn a lot of Americans off, and they continue to double down on those stances. So either they're going to listen to their base and what their base wants, or they're going to continue doubling down on the wrong policies. And so far,
it's tough because Ana Kasparian is completely correct here, and if the Democrats want to win, they'll just listen to Ana Kasparian, like just straight up. They'll just listen to her and Cenk Uygur and these sorts of people, and they'll probably win. It's been a while, and I know that a lot of people will take offense to that, but it's been a while since a Republican candidate has won a popular vote. Donald Trump was the first one to do it in a very long time. It just shows you that there's a lot of Democrats out there. They've done a good job. They have a stranglehold on the school system where all these college professors are just brainwashing all of their students to be woke. And, basically they've infiltrated the entire school system top to bottom. So they're doing a really good job at creating Democrat voters. But they're also doing at the top a horrible job of keeping these Democrat voters. If they just listened to Ana Kasparian, they would also keep these voters, And I hope they never do. And I don't think they will. I think they're just going to continue with the woke nonsense, because you have people like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and AOC, people who are leading the Democrat Party. A lot of people are saying Tim Walz is the front runner to run for president, to win the Democratic nominee for the next election. You're going to get annihilated. I don't care who it is that the Republicans run out there. It could be me. You could run me out there and I would beat Tim Walz. Like that is one of the most unlikable and dishonest humans. He lies about everything. So you're going to lose. But if the Democrats do listen to Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur, it would probably get scary for us. We would probably lose quite a bit, to be honest with you, just because of the sheer volume of Democrat voters. They've played dirty and they've gotten their way. They have a lot of illegal immigrants who are able to vote Democrat because of no voter ID laws. And then they, like I said, they've infiltrated the school system top to bottom, creating Democrat voters. So if they just didn't absolutely suck, then they would probably keep a lot of those voters.
I'm going to bring Nina in here in a minute, but I think you bring up a really important point about their base. Because their base used to be working class, paycheck to paycheck voters, white union men. Have they left their base, or has their base left them? And their base, the Democratic base, is now credentialed progressive elitists who care about cultural issues, not about the economy.
I think what's happened in this past election, the presidential election in particular, is the working class Americans who typically would vote for the Democratic Party either switch sides and cast their ballots for Donald Trump, or they sat the election out entirely. And I have yet to see any real self-reflection from the Democratic machine, the Democratic establishment.
None.
Democratic
agreed.
If you enjoy content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
I got to bring Nina in here, though, in a second. That the person who typically has been the idea, the encapsulation of the working class champion, is Bernie Sanders, right? He's a Democratic socialist from Vermont. He and AOC are going to now barnstorm through red districts in red states in America. That's the latest plan. When you respond to one of Bernie's events, you get an email saying, thank you for responding, here's your invitation to come. And it tells people to wear masks for outdoor events. It still does that. That's not where working class Americans who are in factories and in hospitals and who are driving Ubers are right now, Nina. It's completely buying into the same progressive elite that Anna's talking about.
It's wild that even these, I mean, they can't disagree with Ana Kasparian. They probably could disagree with her if she wasn't present, but because she's speaking absolute facts, all these woke hosts out there are forced to agree with her because there's no way to combat what she's saying. That is insanity. And if you're someone who works a 9-to-5 job and you're trying to go to a rally or go to some sort of event and they're telling you to wear a mask, if you're a normal human, you're going to say, hell no, I'm not going there. You know, I still see people outside all the time in grocery stores or whatever. And look, I'm not going to judge them super hard every time. Maybe they have a family member who's like seriously sick and they can't afford to get sick because it would really affect their family member. So maybe that's the case. But I see people driving, wearing masks inside of their car still all the time. Like, those people are absolute idiots. And you know what Anna's saying, she's cooking, man. And these people, these Democrats, they can't do anything but agree. It's scary to have a Democrat with actual common sense, you know, and these people are scared of Anna because this guy's right too. You know, the working class, nobody in the working class is supporting what these Democrats culturally are supporting right now. And if you look at them politically and their policies, like, what are they? They don't really have any, you know, like, what did Kamala Harris run on? Absolutely nothing, literally nothing. Name one thing in the comments, please. You know? And that's the problem with the Democrat Party, and that's why they're going to continue to lose, because if they don't run on anything politically, they have no policies that they're hanging their hat on, and then culturally they absolutely suck, who's going to like them? It's only the unemployed blue hair liberals. That's it. That's the only people who would vote Democrat now.
I want to expand what we mean by working class. We should be talking about working class people from all identities, because the last time I checked, there are working class people from all identities. Now,
I already don't like this person. I don't. Why are you talking like? Why are you a former Ohio State senator, and why are you talking like that, dude? This is not. Oh man, I can't go too deep on it because it'll get. You know, the people will say it's racist, but like, why did we not use proper English, and why are we wearing these stupid ass glasses? I don't even think those glasses have any frames in them. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think they have any frames in them. Or I don't think they have any lenses in them. Sorry. I think it's just the frame. What are we doing?
Bill Maher, I mean, we should not be, God bless him and his success and all of that, but we shouldn't be taking advice from Bill Maher. He's not out in the streets talking to the big mamas and the big papas across this country. When Norfolk Southern, by way of example, poisoned, you remember East Palestine, Ohio.
Sure, we were there.
Overwhelmingly white working class. I went there. And you know what their biggest surprise was? Not that I'm African American, is obvious, and that community is majority white working class. It was just that a Democrat came to see about them. And when I talk to those people, though, and shame on the women of The View who basically said they got what they deserve because they voted for Donald Trump in a previous election, that is wrong all day long, and I admonish them for that. I think it was Joy Behar to be. But I'm using this as an example because in their pain, they were not asking for less government. They wanted more government. They wanted the government to step up and punish Norfolk and restore their community. The reason why I'm saying that we should not be listening to Bill Maher is because he's not out in the streets among the people.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Go to join.
Yeah, I mean, she's not entirely wrong, but holy crap, how do you listen to that person speak? Like, a former Ohio State senator, why are you speaking like you're whatever, man. I can't even say it because people will just get outraged at me and say I'm racist or whatever. But like, you know, I'm from the South and I don't speak like that. You know, I don't care where you're from. Why are you speaking like that? And why are you wearing glasses with no lenses on them? What are we doing? Whatever. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think about Ana Kasparian forcing this woke host here of News Nation to admit that the Democrats are just absolutely ruining the country and that Republicans are the ones that need to save it if it is going to be saved. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Ana Kasparian versus this woke host here on News Nation.